Good evening, everyone. So this is my very first smartwatch. Really, first time ever being with or holding on to one of these smartwatches for more than like 2 minutes in the Apple store until the employee didn't know what sapphire crystals were, and then it kind of went downhill from there. That was last year, I think. But speaking of sapphire, now Apple finally does the entire face in sapphire, regardless of the model. And hopefully they'll continue doing that, because it's just, we don't need to talk about the benefits of that. On the back, they still do like a proprietary mineral composition class, but that doesn't really get much abuse anyway. That's where they house the heart rate sensor, the charger, and everything. That kind of interestingly snaps in there. As far as comparing it to an actual automatic watch and my daily driver right now, the Tag Heuer that has appeared in the previous video, it's just, first off, the size is of course square, so starting off with the most obvious features. This is 40 millimeter, this is a 40 millimeter watch as well, but circular. This says 40 millimeter, that's the size that I got, and then it's about 11, I think it's like 10.5 millimeters thick, whereas mine is about 11. And they also gave me this, this is called a sport loop, which is like a Velcro. I thought that when I was asking for sport, I was indicating the rubber, but apparently this is what is the sport loop. So I really go, personally at least, for the rubber or the bracelet, the metal bracelet links. But I found that out once I came home and unboxed it and saw a little, oh, it's Velcro. But as far as, it's kind of been strange, like a little bit of an unnerving feeling to actually have to plug in your watch at night. It does get me through the day pretty easily. I'm not really a heavy user of it because I'm not used to doing anything on my watch except holding on my wrist and looking at the time, which Apple makes it a little bit more difficult because sometimes it doesn't even turn on when you flip your wrist up. I would say at best it's really just an extension of your iPhone if you have one, because you can receive texts on it and those will pop up. However, responding to anything like that is a little bit more complicated. And I'll show you, this is just like an appointment confirmation I have here, and I just called them too. And you can dictate a lot really easily, and that actually comes out pretty well. Or you can do this little draw with your finger, which is about as difficult as signing on an iPad or something at a restaurant, which kind of becomes impossible after the first word or two. And then your finger kind of loses any natural oil, and then it starts to not slide well on the screen. It becomes a mess. So really you can only dictate speech on that. I also thought that since it does have speakers and Apple is touting 50% larger or 50% louder speakers for the Series 4, which is what this is, that I could actually play music that I have on the phone. That I have on my phone directly through the watch, which you're not able to do. You can only connect a Bluetooth pair of earbuds or headphones or Bluetooth, whatever, and have that played by the watch to whatever device. So that was a little bit disappointing, but I guess I couldn't really expect exceptional speakers out of something this size anyway. However, they do, it is water resistant to 50 meters, which not very good for a watch, but good for a actual piece of technology like that. And like I said, they're doing sapphire on the front, and then they have Bluetooth 5.0 now, which is a much better connection if your other devices are compatible with that. It's taking a little bit to for everything to catch up to 5.0. As far as actually being a good smartwatch, one of the main gripes initially was the heart rate thing, which was what I was really interested in, just knowing everyday resting heart rate or whenever I'm exercising or anything like that. and I really wish that it would instantaneously update like every couple of seconds or something, or whenever I flip up my wrist to look at it. However, it does not do that. It at best will update it passively like every 5 or 10 minutes, and then it'll tell you the last reading. But if you were just exercising and you weren't 5 minutes ago, then you don't really have an accurate reading. It'll tell you that you're at 70 or something when you're actually at 110 or 120. So that was a little bit of a gripe that I had. Additionally, I was really kind of disappointed with the texting aspect. You can't, there's no note feature or anything here, which is what I kind of wanted to do on the go. You can still have the reminders tab. It's really just an extension of your phone in the sense that it allows you to not have to rely on your phone so much. And if you were to get the cellular, which I didn't get because I'm not about to take out a data plan for a watch, then you can also get text and receive calls when your phone is not connected to Bluetooth. So if you go out without your phone, that was something that was a little bit appealing to me. But it just really hasn't been able to do as much as I initially thought. And it's just, I would rather just pick up my phone and respond to a text much more easily, make a reminder, check the weather, or pretty much anything else, and I can actually play music from that as well. So as far as competing with more of an original, a real watch, this one's going to be returned, and I'm going to keep the Daily Driver and see what will come up in the future if I trade this out and pick up another automatic watch or a manual. But, you know, there are some people that this just really works for them because they do want something that's a little bit quicker as far as an extension of their phone, especially when everyone's getting like a plus size phone that can barely even fit in their pocket, so they don't want to take it as many places, and it's just very unwieldy to handle and to hold. Then you have a smaller screen on your wrist. However, I do see a lot of people getting the 40 millimeters, and now it would be considered the 44 millimeter, since they did a rounded corners on the screen, and it's just much too large for their wrist, especially when they get the rubber, which does not curve around the wrist as well from these plastic kind of lugs that they have. And then you see a massive gap, and it splays out past the wrist and then has to curve back in, which is just a ill-fitting size for them. So that's why I want the 40 millimeter, the smaller of the sizes. I think it still fills out my wrist pretty well. The 44 millimeter would have extended much too far past, and it would have created that weird gap indicative of ill-fitting. But it really hasn't got much wrist time because I just don't really have a need for it. So I'd rather just pick up a watch, not have to worry about charging it, and be able to quickly see the time instead of, you know, this is doing all kinds of, yeah. It's not my style. So back to the Tag for now. Alright, thanks for watching, guys.